Well, thank you very much, and a very warm welcome. Can I say there's a lot of pressure on the last speaker because I'm standing between you and refreshments. So I will be much briefer and hopefully at least convey to you the warmth of the welcome to which you are due. Could I start by saying that I pay tribute to the Consul General for taking this initiative. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here for the entire meeting, but the information which I have heard today, the speakers I've heard today, I think really give you a wonderful orientation for your studies here, for your stay here. And I think as well as letting you know that India cares for you, it is an opportunity for you to meet with people who can provide you with local knowledge. So I also want to say to you that I genuinely admire your courage in seeking an education outside of your familiar surroundings. It's not easy to leave your familiar surroundings behind, come into a strange country, and then sacrifice all the things that you've left behind in order to undertake these studies. I'm sure that they will be repaid in the future, but it's not easy. And I have met with many Indian students over the years, and I'm always impressed not only by their intelligence, by their desire to achieve. In fact, I'm associated with Asha. Some of you may know Asha. It's a charity which takes children from the slums in Delhi. And the young kids who come here, everyone's a kid to me, but the young students who come here really are outstanding in any company. So I'm sure that the previous speakers have been telling you that in Australia and in Sydney particularly, you are not alone as Indians. There are many Indians here, if you haven't discovered that already. In fact, the Indian diaspora is the fastest growing in the country. And it is now the second largest, or about to become the second largest, and will soon overtake even the Anglos. So we have a place called Harris Park out in the western part of Sydney, which is being renamed Little India. And that's because there are so many Indian people. And you make wonderful contributions to the citizenry here. You are contributors. You are wonderful. Members of our community. You assimilate easily, and of course you make a hugely positive cultural and economic impact. And we start, as you would know, with much in common. We're both former British colonies. We're both lovers of cricket. We both share a national day, security arrangements, and most importantly, we are both democracies. Last year I had the honour to listen to the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, and he described India as a country which has the distinction of being named the mother of democracy. Now, having witnessed the rock star welcome that he received when he was here, I wouldn't argue with him. But in a world where democracy is not to be taken for granted, India is a beacon of light. As an aside, by the way, I found your Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, to be humble and having a much clearer understanding of where India is going than I hear from most of our Australian politicians. So maybe we should send some of our Australian politicians to New Delhi for some training. But he made a significant impression when he was here. And it's also comforting, I think, to know that the country with the most people are some of the world's smartest people. It's a country with the fastest growing economy. And I must say from my own experience, some of the nicest people who make extremely good democratic allies. Commensurate with growing economic prosperity, Indian diplomacy has become more confident, with New Delhi telling the world that the country is now a force to be reckoned with. And I think that's something for all of you to be proud of. Our defence agreements cement a relationship which is built on mutual trust and respect and is supported by common values and interests which I mentioned. Ours is a true relationship. It's not a transactional relationship. Of course, I don't know what you are all studying, but I do know that Australia and India are natural partners. India has a scale which Australia lacks. It has, on the other hand, India has developed highly sophisticated IT and business outsourcing services which are deeply embedded within Australian industry. India is ranked second in the world, as we know, for doctors, engineers and scientists. If you look at the major companies in the world today, most of them, or a large number of them, are run by Indians. And India is making a massive investment in infrastructure, which while Australia has the world's third largest pension pool and expertise in finance, agriculture, education and health services. Australia can supply India's rapidly growing demand for energy and other natural resources. Yet despite all this and the signing of a comprehensive economic cooperation agreement, Australian perception of India and India's perception of Australia, I think, need to be urgently updated. And I hope that all of you will play a part in that. Indeed, I hope that you elect to stay in Australia, or at least whether you do elect to stay in Australia or whether you intend to return to India, that you will build on the relationships that you make here, the friendships, and that you will maintain them. It's very important that, in my perception anyway, when I go to India and when I speak to Australians about India, the understanding that I see so often is something like 30 years out of date. I think people who, in fact, I'll tell you an anecdote. When I was in Paris last year at Charles de Gaulle Airport, they have the Olympics this year. And when I went through Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, it reminded me of Mumbai Airport 30 years ago. I only wish that they could transport the Mumbai Airport to Paris, at least for the Olympic Games, because I think people are going to be waiting a very long time to get processed. But I think this is the perception that people have of India. It is out of date, needs to be updated, and you people have an opportunity to be able to do that. So you also, I hope, will be able to be involved with or to understand and comprehend Australia's traditional culture of mateship, and I hope that that does rub off on you. It's one of our more admirable characteristics, and it is all about looking after one another. This is an excellent time to be here. Later in the year, as you may already know, the Indian cricket team is coming to Australia. Now you need to speak to Gurnam, because if you want to get seats at the cricket ground, you're going to have to do something to please him. But the seats in the cricket ground will be sold out very quickly. So he's the man that can help you. I should say to you that Gurnam has become a much-loved personality in our cricketing rivalry, and is arguably the best dressed person at the Sydney Cricket Ground, particularly on Wear It Pink Day, which is a charity day where everyone wears pink. So here's a challenge for you all, that you can see if you can out-pink him in traditional Indian costume, because that may very well advance your opportunity to be invited back to the cricket. But on a more serious note, could I say that I really wish you all extremely well with your studies. We know that you're a long way from home, and sometimes you may be feeling a little homesick. And don't be shy, as other speakers have said. Don't be shy about explaining to people that you're feeling a little bit concerned about things, that because when you're away from home, whatever the problems are, they tend to be magnified. So I'm sure that there are people here who will be happy to assist you should you be looking for advice, and will be able to talk you through the concerns that you may have. And you can include me in that. I'm more than happy if you get into any degree of difficulty and want some advice. If I can give that advice, I'm happy to do that, and I'm happy to pass you on to people who may be able to assist. And I think, as you heard from our good friend from the police force, these are people not to be feared, but to take into your confidence if you feel unsafe or you have reason to be concerned about any issue. And these people are here to assist you. And of course, as you've just heard, be safe in the water. We don't want any more drownings. So I wish you well with your studies. I hope that your stay here is everything that you would like it to be, and that perhaps at the end of the day, you even decide to settle here. But while you are here, please feel at home. Treat Sydney as if it is home, and I wish you every success with your studies, and enjoy your time. Thank you very much.